All right, so here we have Bitcoin on Bybit on the 1 hour. As you see, that FOMC meeting was some volatility. We cracked way up, had a fake out above the 200, and then cracked back down. And then we got this hammer wick, or this hammer candle at the bottom, and now we're having a bounce. Now, the question is whether we go up to 19,500 or 18,700. Those are the two levels I'm looking at right now. So depending on which way we close, it's going to determine whether we're bullish or bearish. So if we can get up above that 19,500 level, and I would actually want to get above 19,700, where this POC point of control on the VPVR here is. Your VPVR measures horizontal volume at a certain price level. So you will find resistance at each of these spikes. Right now, your RSI is coming in at the neutral zone, above your signal line, above the neutral median line. So we are in the upper zone of the neutral zone. Your MACD, fresh cross to the upside, trying to cross that zero line right now. We are on the second tick, so we have closed above it. But as you see, a lot of times you can get resistance up right above it. And we do have 3 points of resistance on the MACD. We have gotten, we're trying to get above this level in the histogram. And if we can, and break these last highs on the MACD, I would expect us to come up to the 200. Right now, your MACD and your RSI are both momentum oscillators. They judge bullish and bearish momentum. So definitely pay attention to those. Your BBWP is in the upper zone, which measures volatility. Right now, your moving average is curled over. So are we going to get some consolidation here in between these levels? Could happen. That's scenario one. Scenario two is that we break this POC point of control and then head up to 20,400. Then we'll come back to it. The other scenario is that we break the 18, I'd say 18,900. Then I would expect a small bounce at the 18,700 level, another bounce at 18,450, and then come down to 1800. That's the bearish case. So basically, if we break these moving averages to the downside, probably going to go down to 18,000. That's what I meant, 18,000, not 1800. And then if we can break the POC, I would expect this to go up to 20,450. So yeah, I mean, there's basically your three scenarios. Let's move on to the 4 hour real quick. So you did make a higher high, a closure on the 4 hour. Right now, you're trying to get out of the bearish control zone, getting rejected, finding some resistance from the neutral median line right now, but you are above your signal line. MACD, fresh cross, fresh retest to the upside, kind of been converging back and forth here on your MACD line to your signal line. So if you can get back above this high on your histogram, that's going to look good. All right, BBWP is below its moving average, which makes me think could have some consolidation here. We are being held up by the 21 right now at 19,150. So if we can stay above that level, we'll probably be in good shape. Now your 50 comes in at the 19,500 level. So remember, that also coincides with that other level on the 1 hour. POC on this one, on the 4 hours at 19,800. So, I mean, we have a bullish and bearish case. So watch your levels. And depending on what Bitcoin does is going to determine what happens in the other, markets of the other assets. So let's go to the daily real quick. So the daily, we did make a lower high, or lower low, and a lower high from this point to this point. And we do not, let me see here. No bearish divergence. Okay, so you are testing your signal line, which also comes in about the top of the bearish control zone, about. So if we get a rejection from the top of the bearish control zone, that's not going to look good. We need to get back below 19,150 in order to cross that, in order to stay below that signal line. Right now, your MACD fresh cross to the downside. Negative momentum's waning a bit, barely picked up. BBWP is coming down to its moving average. Now, I don't expect it to cross its moving average, not on the daily. We could consolidate here, for a little bit on the 1 hour and 4 hour, then, the lower term time frames. But I do expect the BBWP to stay above its moving average on the daily. I do think the volatility is going to pick up after maybe some consolidation. So we're being held up by the 100 on the 1 hour. If we break that 100, I would expect us to come back down to these other moving averages, the 21 and the 50. But like I said, if we break that level, we're going to get a bounce probably at the 18,700, which is the level to watch. And if that breaks on a 1 hour closure, 18,000 is what I'd be looking at. I keep saying 100, but you know what I mean. 18,700. So that's basically what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's move on to the Stokes. Right now, your stochastic is curling over. If you do cross the signal line, it's not going to look good. You are being rejected, trying to find some resistance at this bullish order block. So we'll find out if we can get back into that and close above this top side Bollinger Band. That's going to look good, but we also have this bearish order block coming in at $20,000. So watch these levels, 19,700 and 18. Hold on, let's see here. No, let's go back. So yeah, I'd say 19,700, but the 200 comes in at 19,550. So watch that level. That's the level to watch. And to the downside, 18,700. But if we break these moving averages, it's going to increase the probability that we break this. But if we get a bounce, maybe a fake out, get back above these moving averages, that's going to go into the bullish case. All right, let's move on to Ethereum. By the way, if you guys are liking this video so far, like and subscribe to the mother channel. Check out the links in the description below. One being the Discord. A lot of good conversation about trading, crypto, and investing. Definitely join the Discord. We have stayed ahead of the curve during this whole bear market. And we will continue to stay ahead of the curve, collectively figuring out this market. So here on Ethereum, being held down by the 50, got the POC point of control on the VPVR coming in where the 100 is. Also every 200 going to work its way down to the bottom of the previous range. Let's go ahead and move this out. Come on, where you at? Where you at? There we go. All right, so your RSI, neutral median zone, above the neutral median line and the signal line. If we do come back down below that neutral median line, I would expect a strong support where the signal line in the top of the bearish control zone comes in at. MACD, fresh cross to the upside, strong upside curvature, strong momentum to the upside. BBWP is below its moving average, curling back down. Same thing with your moving average. That's what I'm saying. I think we could consolidate here for a bit. But if we do get above that moving average on the BBWP, watch your momentum, because I would expect the volatility to begin. Let's move on to the 4 hour. Here on your 4 hour, your 21 is going to come in at that red zone. All right, so that's the level to beat, 40. Yeah, 1340 is the level to get above. If that happens, I would expect to come up to 1365. Now, depending on whether we break that is going to decide whether we can come up to this 50 and the bottom of this previous range at about 1400. All right. So RSI on the 4 hour, though, is in the bearish control zone. You did cross that signal line on 2 ticks ago. 1 tick. We're on the 2nd tick right now. All right, so if we can break out of the bearish control zone, that's going to feed into the bullish case. MACD, fresh cross to the upside. Well, we're on the current tick, so we're going to find out. All right, so we need to stay above 1270 in order to stay above that signal line. We need to stay above 1277 in order to continue rising above, continue rising to the upside. BBWP is above its moving average, and the moving average is starting to curl over. So if the BBWP stays in the upper zone, the volatility will continue. Now, we are hitting resistance right now. So if we get rejected from here, 1325, it's going to look like shit. All right, the level to watch is 1246, about 1245 region. Basically this last low, the last low closures. All right, if we break that, next stop, $1,000, like we've been talking about. That would also coincide with Bitcoin breaking down. Bullish case is that you get back above this red zone at the 1365 region. I would expect this to come up to 1400. If we can break 1400, you know, I would expect this to come all the way up to 1550, where this 100 and this 200 is coming in at now. Your moving averages are fanned out at the moment, so that's not the best sign. All right, which means your true trend is to the downside, making lower highs, lower lows. Excuse me. And let's move on to the daily. So here on your daily, lower highs, lower lows, bearish control zone on the RSI, below your signal line, MACD, fresh cross of the zero line and the signal line. It happened at the same time. So that's not a good sign. BBWP is very high. Moving average has an upside curvature. So that's what I'm saying. The volatility on the daily is going to continue, in my opinion. All right. So now the lower term time frames could consolidate a bit, but the higher term time frame, you know, the volatility has begun. The volatility began when you got above this moving average, when you started this down move. And now, trying to get a bounce. But if this bounce is weak and it gets rejected from that level, the bottom of that red zone right here, and the 21, that's going to look like shit. All right. So let's check the Stoke and order blocks. So you're trying to get above that bullish order block right now, but your POC, point of control, in the VPVR is coming in at 1345, which coincides with another level that we were just talking about. Your stochastic is curling over. If you cross that signal line, which is at the top of the bearish control zone, that's not going to look good. But if you get a retest and a resumption up, that will look good. All right, now I would expect this to get a bounce up. I would expect this to move up to this POC at 1345. All right, so that's basically it for Ethereum. Let's move on to Solana. Solana. All right, so Solana is doing better than, okay, what the fuck did I do? All right, so Solana is doing a little better. So far we're going to make a lower high. If this is a confirmed high, getting rejected from the 200. We are above the POC, point of control, in the VPVR, which is kind of holding us up right now. Your moving averages are trying to cross bullish. Now, if your 21 gets rejected from the 50, that's not going to look good. But here on your MACD, you're getting a fresh cross to the upside of the zero line. BBWP is high, but it's starting to curl over. And the moving average is curling over. So, in your RSIs in the neutral median zone, getting rejected from the bottom of the bullish control zone. As you see, you have high resistance here at the bullish control zone. All right, but if we can get in there, and break this last high right here, that's going to look really good, especially with your MACD crossing to the upside of the zero line. And I would expect the 4-hour to get rolled over and have bullish momentum. Right now, your MACD is trying to get a fresh cross to the upside. Your RSI got out of the bearish control zone above its signal line, probably going to come back down for a retest of the neutral median line. BBWP is coming down below its moving average. So once again, I think we get a little consolidation and then find out which level we break. All right, let's go to the order block. So we got a lot of support right here. We broke through it all, basically. But if we come up to 33.35, we have a bearish order block right here, which is going to be high resistance. Also, that's where your FOMC crazy wick came from, or the high of that. Stochastic's curling over. If you cross that signal line, not going to look good, but if you get a retest, it will. And basically, I mean, that's basically your level. Those basically your levels. If you get above the 200, I would expect you to come back up to the high of the FOMC meeting at $33. If you can get a higher closure of these closures, this high right here, I would expect you to come all the way up to 34.50 region. Now, if you break the moving averages to the downside at about 31.60, all right, I would expect you to come back down to these lows of the FOMC meeting, probably down to $30. Now, we have a lot of support under us, but if we break $30, next stop is between 29 and 28.50 region. If we break that, it's $26, and then we come back to it. All right, so those are basically my thoughts for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Stay ahead of the curve. Also join the Discord. We stay ahead of the curve there as well. And everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.